There's nobody watching.
Is it on yet?
It's live. Nobody's watching.
Nobody likes you.
I can't help it. I've tried to be likable, but I just evidently can't be likable. People don't.
You're on here.
There's a few people there. That's okay. I've tried to be likable. I've got some great examples today that I have chose.
Move that down a little bit.
I've got some great examples today that I've chosen that illustrate without any influence the things that we've talked about before. Encouraging things, I think. But we want to talk about springtime fishing, tips here and there, and I'd love to hear from you. Questions, criticisms, encouragement, advice, whatever. I'm no expert at anything. I've just been around a long, long time. So join us, if you will, for the next half an hour. And let's jump in here and talk about springtime fishing. I have a recommendation and reminder for you that doesn't have anything to do with fishing, but it's about fishing. Well, it's the following. On reservoirs all over the country, especially now in the springtime, you're going to be I want to talk about ramp conduct. All right, I'll just get right to it. If you're going to a ramp and put your boat in, whether you're a skier or a fisherman or a big boat, small boat, no matter what it is, load your boat before you put the boat down the ramp. I think it's awful when I see somebody back in, then they decide to get the things out of the truck to put in their boat. They got to put a cooler, and they've got to put a satchel. They've got to put some rods and reels in there, maybe a tackle box or two. Who knows? If you're a skier, you put skis in the boat then. Put the ropes in. Listen, when you pull down the ramp, when you back down the ramp, be sure the plug's in, but when you back down the ramp, the boat's ready to go. There's nothing else for you to stop, to load up. Then, when you return, if it's an hour, the next day, sometime that day, if you have take the opportunity to set an example for everyone there, take the boat out, drive it away from the ramp, then unload. And if there's trash and bottles and cans, and there always will be, think about it. For you to kind of clean up the ramp a little bit, maybe a little bit better than it was when you put in or took out, there's a trash can there. Put it in the trash can, okay? Make the ramp look better.
And might I add to that?
Okay.
If the trash cans happen to be full, then take your trash home.
Good idea. If it's overflowing, the trash can's overflowing, Gail is with me, of course. Good idea. We put a trash can in the truck, not a trash bag in the truck, so that you can put all your trash in a trash bag and take it home if the containers are full at the ramp. Okay? That's the fishing tip, but I have a better one. We've talked so much about guys who, they have a dock, they have a covered dock, they have a spot on the lake there to sit down and they can fish, and they put some brush underneath the dock, underneath the boathouse, and it's a nice fishery. Want to make it better? You're gonna be surprised. I told you a few weeks ago about putting a hay bale, and be sure and tie a rope to the wire so that you can take the wire and the weight out when it disintegrates and there's fish under there. And then next year, and then you can replace it. Here's something that works too, especially you guys who like to fish on the rivers. Get a Kroger sack, fill it up with dry dog food and a couple of bricks. tie a rope to it, tie it to the dock, and drop the dog food in the bag under your dock.
You know what you might need to do?
Oh, you might need to check, make sure it's legal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be number one. But you might also want to explain to those people who may not know, what is a Kroger sack?
Oh, how do you describe a croaker sack? It's loose material.
I guess something like what potatoes come in.
Yeah, something like that, but that's plastic. But
It's
a
a
croaker
woven,
sack.
like it used to be, where you bought like maybe 50 pounds of grain or something, like strings all woven together or something, because you need the water.
It's
to
a
be able to
cloth
blend it.
bag. When all that dog food melts and attracts all these fish, the sack still exists.
Yeah.
And it's still tied to a rope to the dock, and you pull it out. Okay? See, I've helped you on this dock deal. If you'll follow through on the hay bale and the dog. Now, I learned that.
Okay, burlap bag.
Burlap.
There
Okay.
you go.
I learned that from an old friend of mine who's not with us any longer. His name was Randy Smith, and Randy was really good at fishing. He was an outstanding bass fisherman, and he was really good. He always went up the river, okay? And I didn't know until quite some time that he put out dog food bags on several places up the river. So he knew exactly where to go next to get a bite, and the next place to get a bite. And see, the current, pushed all that scent and all that material downstream, and the fish just followed it up. Of course, you have gar and carp, but you had crappie and bass and stripers and hybrids and everything. They just followed it right up to the bag. So, okay, but that was Randy Smith. He was one of a kind, for sure. There's the dog food story. So, okay, there's the dog food story. Okay, here's another illustration. It just happened today that has supported our conversations before so many times. Guy came by here today. We just changed our termite, insect, and critter service people. We had one of each. We didn't know any better. So now there's a company we just hired called All Exterminating, and they do all the critters and rats and bats, and they do the termite inspections and they do all the insect stuff. In other words, just one guy. So the termite guy was by here today, and it turns out he's watched the show before and he listens to the radio program, and he said, "I've got a story for you." I said, "Oh yeah, tell me about it." And he said, "We're looking forward to the turkey season, but let me tell you, my 8-year-old son got his first doe last year." Wow, he was so proud. He said he was in the blind. I had to wake him up to get him up, and he missed the first shot, and and the doe just stood there at 40 yards, and he missed the second shot. And the doe ran out about 40 yards and stopped and turned, and he took a third shot and he dropped him. That's not the point. The point is, if he, and I'm not putting it down because I did all this too. Little League, Babe Ruth, high school sports and all that is fabulous. But he'll be telling this story, and his 8-year-old son will be telling this story about that trip for 50 years. But you don't talk about playing baseball and a certain game and so on for that length of time. Outdoor stories are timeless. Yes, ma'am.
You can do both.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
listen, you can do all that,
talk
but I'm
about
just,
your baseball stuff.
well,
But,
yeah, well, yeah, and I do still talk about
Yeah.
just to Gail.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I had a lucky couple of seasons. Okay. So I'm just pointing out that a walk in the woods, a turkey hunt, a squirrel hunt, a hog hunt, the deer hunt from last year, those stories live longer. They're individual stories. And who was there that day? Instead of a little league or a baseball game or a football game full of people, who was there that day? Who shared that adventure? Who shared that story? 2 people. A father and his 8-year-old son. That's the difference. So, get your kids involved in outdoors. Fishing, hunting, so on. And if you do, this springtime, by all means, be sure that their tackle works. The line is not twisted. Have spare rod and reels. Children have no patience for equipment that does not work. But you see to it that it does. And again, who is it? And maybe the kid down the street whose dad is not an outdoorsman. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Anything?
No.
Okay. Turkey season is on the way. In Georgia, turkey season begins on the 20th of this month. How is it that you prepare for turkey season? Obviously, you're going to be scouting some. You're going to be going into the woods. Make sure that you can get to your stand. You know where your stand is. You know where you're going to take position. The guys that I really admire are the jump and run hunters that hear a bird, oh, we need to go after him. Hear a bird, we need to go after him. And so on. I never have been that guy. I was always the guy who sat still and called. And if they didn't come in at 7:30, which I learned from Roscoe Reams, the best turkey hunter I ever went out with, patience kills turkeys. For instance, and I'll put this as a little bit of a guess what? I don't know if I'm right. I'll bet you that when I hunted with no, let's don't do it that way. I'll bet you that if you take a turkey this year, a gobbler, at 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning, I'll bet you that he's already visited most of the hens, serviced most of the hens, and then he recalls that he heard you 2 hours ago. And he says, she sounded awfully sweet. I think I'll go and check that out because I'm not done. I'm still ready, even though I just became friends with 7 others. I think I'll go over there and see if she's still there. Patience kills turkeys. If you don't, have you ever given up at 9:30, 10 o'clock? Oh man, he's gone now. He went off with those hens. Doggone it. I thought I had him for a minute. He sure did he sounded anxious, but he went off with the hens. I guess I'll just oh. He's right over there. Came in silent. Patience kills turkeys. Okay.
And calling too much.
Okay, let's talk about some of the things you don't do. Turkey hunting. Let's see if I can illustrate. This is how you look for turkeys side to side.
And is it not true they can even see that?
Well, you've got to be able to look a little. You got to be able, but I'll tell you what won't work if he's there and you don't see him. This will guarantee you failure. Ready? I think I heard him over there. Oh, I think he's coming in to the right side. Well, that's hunt's over. And I would tell you too that you may not see or notice or know that he saw you, but you don't hear him anymore. And so you say, there's not any birds here. I don't know. I heard a couple, but then they left. I looked over and I made sure there wasn't anything over there, and I looked behind me and I thought he might be back there. I heard something, but he's not there now. Yeah. He's not there now. Sure enough, he's not there now. I understand. I'm not sure I believe this, but I understand that the Eastern, well, first of all, when I talk about all this stealth and patience and everything, that's the Eastern wild turkey. The other genres, if you will, the other breeds, like the Rio Grande, and I can't recall the names, the ones in the Rocky Mountains and all those, that's different. That's not the Eastern. They'll come up to you and eat out of your hand. I've killed 4 in one day there out in Texas once. I was in Texas. I was hunting Rio Grandes. Had a good guy with me, Scott Sawyers. He was the cameraman. Great caller. And we called one in to 45 yards or less. And I was using a muzzle loader. And I missed him. Boom. Turkey jumps up in the air, comes back down, and then goes in full strut. And I reloaded my muzzle loader, lost my primer out of my pocket, and searched around in the grass like this from 25 or 30 yards, put the primer in the muzzle loader, and he's still there. And I took him. It's a Rio Grande. I mean, they come in and say, shoot me, shoot me. And here's my buddy, shoot him too. Eastern's not like that. They hurt your feelings. They make your lips pooch out. Yes, ma'am.
Was the other turkey you were trying to think of, was it a Merrimack?
Miriam.
Miriam, yeah. Okay.
Miriam, and then the one in Mexico, what's his called? Well, I don't know. My brain's gone soft. I can't think of things.
Let me ask you a question.
Go.
About the Eastern, since when you're hunting them, you can't move and all that. And yet, when we're coming down the road into our development here in the mountains, they're out in the road, and we blow the horns at them, and they gobble. Yeah. And they don't move. They just stand there. Right. Why is that?
The car's not an enemy.
How do they know you are?
Because I'm sitting on the ground next to them. I'm about the size of one of their enemies. I think that's the reason why. How about that answer?
I'm not buying that.
Well, I tell you what. I'll prove it to you next time. Next time we're on the road.
Okay.
We've got turkeys in front of us along the side of the road, and they're not in any hurry to leave. Step out of the car. Okay. They'll be gone.
And we'll report back.
Yeah. They'll be gone, I swear. Gone. So, two other things about the upcoming turkey season throughout the turkey season is, number one, before you go, sight in your shotgun. Huh? You don't have to sight in a shotgun. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You shoot at the base of his neck right here. There's no sense in shooting at the side of his head, because even if you're sighted in, that half of the pattern is going to miss. Automatic. You shoot right here. Okay? As Tom Kelly would say, wounded turkeys are like food for wildcats. So, sight in your shotgun. Then, try the following. Okay? whatever your pattern is that you've been calling over the years, call less. The worst yelping I ever heard came from a turkey. It's not the quality of the sound, it's the rhythm and the frequency. I would tell you, when I hunted with Roscoe, again, best turkey hunter I ever hunted with, called every 10 minutes. And the last time I hunted with him, he called 3 times. First time, and he whispered to me, without moving his head, he said, "He's on the limb." 10 minutes later, yep. Return. He's on the ground. 10 more minutes. Yep. Gobble. There he is.
You think they're hearing you whisper?
I hope so. Are you hearing me whisper? There he is. It was a fabulous hunt. He called 3 times. Yes, ma'am.
Joe Moravec says when you're sighting in, to use different ammo brands because
Good
they're
idea.
all different.
Yeah. And stick with it. Whatever stick with it, what works for you. But you have to sight in, you have to call less, and you cannot move. If you're going to hunt out of a blind and maybe be with a child, because it's tough for them to remain still, put your blind up at least a week ahead of time. So it's not, because the turkey will notice that the blind is new. The blind is there and it wasn't there 2 days ago. It needs to be there a few days. Put the blind up, okay? And that will help also. Listen, this stuff is not mysterious. And things that work for me may not work for you. Things that work for you may not work for me. But you know where you learn how to do all this stuff? By going hunting and talking with bozos like me. So, okay, anything else right now?
Let's see, was one of them Gould's turkey?
Yeah, a Gould's. That's the one that's close to Mexico.
And
a Gould's.
An ocellated.
Ocellated is in Florida. Now, the ocellated is kind of close to the eastern with regards wariness and so forth. So you got the ocellated. No, the ocellated is in Mexico. That's in Latin America.
Is your back getting hot?
No.
Oh, because your fire is caught up.
You got caught up then.
Okay.
Let's see, the ocellated, I think the ocellated is in Mexico. He doesn't gobble, he sings, he whistles. And you got Gould's, Miriam, Rio Grande, Eastern,
Osceola.
and what's
Osceola.
Osceola. That's the Florida turkey.
Okay.
And he's pretty close to the Eastern. He's tough. I mean, and he's in Florida. He's not very big. He's not as big as the Eastern. But he's worthwhile. What makes him so tough is there's so much ground cover. And one of the things that makes him tough, there's so much ground cover in Florida with the palmettos and all that kind of stuff that you really are strained to be able to see him, all that stuff. So I had a friend. You know his product. His name was Dick Kirby, and Dick Kirby, he was a barber and hairstylist. We'll call him a barber. He was a barber, but he had a talent for calling, and he could call turkey and elk and hogs and deer. He could call anything, and he didn't even have to have a call. He could do it. But he came up with the brand Quaker Boy Game Calls. Ultra successful line of turkey calls and so on.
Would that be your favorite turkey call by chance?
What?
Quaker Boy.
Oh yeah, the Quaker Boy box call.
Okay.
That's the Quaker Boy box call is my favorite, and one of it's my favorite because it's loud. Number one, and number two, I can't call with my. I sound like a duck. I'm not good at that. Now Travis can call without a call. Dick Kirby could call without a call. I can't do that. And I can't sing like Frank Sinatra either. So use the call that you're most comfortable with, but I like the box call because it's loud. And I can hit that thing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Sit it down. I know anything that was in calling distance heard it. And after the second call, he knows where I am. And that's when I really hunker down. So, number one big game animal in North America. Yes, ma'am. Anything?
Which turkey is the most delicious? I have an answer.
The one at Kroger?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, we cook
Yes.
we cook them on the game and fish dish, and
Absolutely.
they're okay.
Just go
But
slowly. That's right.
They have a different taste than what you buy in Kroger.
One of the things that we did on the last time you and I cooked a wild turkey,
What?
we had Cajun injector.
Oh yeah.
And
that
we
made a
injected the
made a
turkey.
big difference. Yeah.
We injected the turkey breast with the Cajun injector seasonings, Cajun seasonings. And you know what? I'll bet you there's some great turkey recipes from Swaggerty's
Without a doubt.
using some Swaggerty sausage. Excuse me. Okay.
What kind of locator call do you like?
I like a crow call because I don't mess it up, and I'll use a crow to get a locator, and the crow call, they'll respond to the crow call. I know one guy who depends on a excuse me, what's the ground bird with the big fan tail? You see him in the zoo.
Oh, peacock.
Peacock. I know one guy that uses a peacock call very successfully as a locator. I don't know where he got that idea, but it sure did work because I was with him one day. I was just sitting in the stand with him, sitting on the ground with him, and on the way in, he hit that peacock. Man, oh man, bang! He's right over there, and I think he took. Well, no. That guy missed that day. I'll keep his name to myself. But you know the only guy who's never missed a deer, he's never missed a quail, a dove, a turkey, a pig. You know who's never missed?
I do.
Who?
Me.
Why?
Because I've never been.
There you are. If you've never been, you haven't missed. If you are a hunter, you will miss. Like the story today I told you about the 8-year-old. Missed him at 40 yards, missed him at 40 yards, and hit him at 80 yards.
What about the owl hoot? Would that work?
Oh, yeah, owl hoot's good. Yeah, sure. Yeah, the owl hoot is as a locator. I know a couple of guys that can really sound just like a barred owl. And they use that because they don't have to carry anything to do it. And all that stuff works. Just it doesn't work if you're sitting at home. You have to be in the woods. And
Well, you have both your daughters listening today. Both your daughters are on here.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
That's nice.
Let's see. I talked about the dog food, putting new line on all the reels. Don't use too heavy a line for the children. Sight in your shotgun. Stop calling so much. I was going to tell you.
Wait a minute.
What?
You mentioned a peacock call and some peacock call when? I don't know what that means.
Well, a peacock call is a locator. When you get out of the truck, you walk down the road, it's still dark, and a locator call is a crow call, an owl call, a peacock call, and that's a shot and the turkey, honey, is sitting on a limb, and he hears this and he answers it.
Like a horn blowing.
Right.
Yes.
Like that's what happens up here frequently in the mountains. Right along the road, we see the gobbler blow the horn and he gobbles. That's a shot gobble. Is it 6:30?
No, 7 o'clock.
7? We've been doing this an hour? Oh, it's
No.
6:30. Oh.
Hello.
It's been a long day. I've been cutting wood.
You don't need to be cutting any wood.
Yeah, I know I don't, but I did. So, okay, if you have no other subjects, we'll sign off and get out of here.
Yeah, we're gonna guess what we're having for dinner.
Oh man, I'm going to tell you so you can be envious. We're having walleye for dinner. Whatever you're having is not enough. Whatever you're having is not as good. We're having walleye, the best tasting freshwater fish that God ever allowed on earth. That's the one. And so, okay, appreciate you guys watching. It's my pleasure to invite you to watch O'Neill Outside television. You can go to my website at o'neilloutside.com. You can purchase my book, O'Neill. Oh, I got something else. O'Neill Outside, 65 Years in the Outdoors, People and Places Along the Way. You can buy it right off the homepage of the website. I'll sign it for you, and you can buy it that way. But if you're a local guy, Dawsonville, Cumming, if you're an Atlanta guy, go to Beaver Toyota. It's one of those grand Toyota dealers in Cumming, Georgia. You walk in, you will see a big sign, and it's got my ugly face on it, and the books are $20. Wait. For the $20, you get the book. The entire $20 goes to the Children's Fishing Classic at Lake Lanier this year. It's a donation by Beaver for the entire $20. And in the book, in an envelope, is a $10 gift card from Bojangles.
What a deal.
Yeah, what a deal. So, all right, I was going to say something else. Oh, be sure and join me Saturday mornings. WSB, the Sports Map Radio Network, all across the country, 38 states, 4 a.m. Eastern, and we get to talk outdoors, and O'Neill gets to be the boss again. But I'll accept your calls, recommendations, criticisms, and advice on that program. I do get some really good callers because the guys are up going to the lake, they're up, going hunting, they're up, and so they've got some terrific advice for whether you're fishing or hunting.
And last week you had a guy from Ireland.
Oh, yeah. During last week's program, a fella called in, and he was listening on the internet from Ireland, and his name was Neil.
But
half a name.
True.
Hey, glad you guys joined us. I enjoy doing this every week. We talked about before. Why are we doing this?
We did, actually. Yeah.
And we don't know why.
And then we get to doing it and we realize how much fun it is.
Yeah, it is fun.
It is fun.
Hey,
Radio is fun. It's actually, yeah, Raj. It's actually more fun than television.
The television's a bore. But you can still watch on VOD networks. You can watch it on Carbon TV, Waypoint TV, the Hunt Channel, Outdoor Action, Gone TV, Prime TV, Smart TV. Oh my God! And you just look it up. You'll get see shows from O'Neill Outside. We've been around a little while. Okay, cork's back in the jug. Have a pleasant evening. Anything else?
We love all of y'all and hope you have a wonderful week. Be safe. Still watch out for the COVID, although I think we're on the downhill slide finally.
We got 2.
We've had our vaccine.
We're
yes.
safe.
We're good for now.
Which means I can go back to the gym.
Yeah, that's what your doctor said.
See you later.